All right, guys, so we're back here. It's been a while here with the Chessnut Move, and I gotta say that just like any other Chestnut product, I'm quite impressed with this thing. As you can see that I do have everything sort of in shambles here on the board, and this is for a specific reason, because the things I really want to demonstrate with this board is what I think is important in terms of how it moves around and how well they thought out certain things when it come to actually inputting your opponent's move and also executing your move and things like that. But the first thing I want to start out with here is is this thing here. What is this thing here? Well, this thing here is how you charge the pieces here, because what a this just leads into talking about the pieces a little bit. They actually use a wheel technology up here to roll the pieces around, instead of having, I guess, some sort of mechanism inside of the board. Say, for example, some sort of lever type system under the board. It sort of has a magnetic base in the piece that kind of connects the thing and moves it around. Again, I've never used any other board. I haven't even researched what, say, other movable chess boards use, but I'm under the assumption that it's something probably like that. So, and that also leads me to the second point, that what makes that, to my opinion, pretty good is that if you have a piece that, in other words, like the board is probably less likely to fail because of mechanical fault versus, say, something that senses pieces and then talks to this base and gives it coordinates and tell it to go there. Now, I do know they have chess moving boards from the 80s that still work. I do know that, but at the same time, I think in this day and age, like a lot of what I want to say, Bluetooth type technology and things like that has been worked out to where it actually works and has great longevity. And here's the base here. What's cool about this base, I think, is that they give you 4 of these guys right in the box, with, instead of letting you actually have a piece that just might fail and then you have to contact them to get another piece, they go ahead and put 4 of these in the box. And by the way, this is a test unit, so I'm assuming that although things could change, I'm assuming that the final product will be very similar to this. And so I'm hoping that the 4 pieces like this still come in the box. And after, let's just say, if these 4 pieces were to fail, 4 pieces here were to fail, and use these 4 bases while you're still under warranty, they will still supply you with more of these pieces here while you're under warranty, if necessary. So also pretty cool little guy here. This thing runs off I don't know if you can see, I'll take a picture and put it at 3.7 volts, 200 milliamps. And if I got my math right, you multiply volt times amps and get the power. So this is 0.74 watt hours. And I think this capacitor is just so when the piece is on the board, it has some reserve power here, so it can just draw from that versus just pulling straight from the battery. And that may help the longevity of the batteries in these pieces. Now, I do know also that capacitors are used in other circuits. Say if you have a rectifier and you're trying to smooth out a transition from an AC to a DC, voltage, something like that. But I think in this case, it has something to do with just reserve power for the pieces. So pretty interesting setup they have here. And also, little thoughtful things like this, they actually include inside of the package what you need: a little screwdriver that feels a pretty decent quality, and some little screws that you just have everything you need, instead of them just giving you the base and the screws and just on the assumption you may have a precision screwdriver. So little things like that, to me, go a long ways. It really helps your experience, because again, as much as things cost these days, having a bad experience is really, sort of unwarranted in the way that we communicate in this world, because it's more easily to gauge what people want, and how you can sort of avoid things like them adding extra pieces in the board, with the board. I think really avoids potentially a lot of just discussion, a lot of back and forth, a lot of dissatisfied customers. So I thought it was pretty cool. So that's why I wanted to talk about this thing here first. So again, you set your pieces. Let me set this down here. right on top of this and set them in place. This is not plugged up. You actually have to plug this up. I'm assuming you can plug this up to a power bank as well. When you're finished with it, you can just store this away. This thing, let's see here, it's about 31 centimeters or 12 inches by, let's see here, about 22 and a half centimeters by about 9 inches roughly. So that's how much space you're going to need for this. But don't forget, you're not going to have this out. Once you charge your pieces up, you can just unplug this thing and just tuck it away. And that leads me to another thing, talking about the battery in here. I use this board for approximately 4 hours in testing. Like I played about 4 or 5 rapid games online, which was about 30 to 40 minutes each. I did some testing with Mia offline, and also just some general menu exploration. So I use it roughly 4 hours, and the battery, if you look at the, and I'll show you when I'm gonna do a little bit of menu exploration here in a minute. The battery indication says it still has a roughly 38-40% left. So if you count that up, that's probably about, I'm just saying that under the assumption that, don't forget, everything here is in testing. So it's not anything fully fleshed out or maybe super accurate, but let's just say roughly 8 hours of play, which is pretty good, not bad at all. So with that said, let's move on to the actual board itself and kind of show you why I have this set up like this, because we're going to explore the menu just a little bit before we start actually testing the board. And I will say this, a lot of stuff I won't go over as far as like, it still has the basic same Chessnut controls that the way you can play an offline game, say with another opponent and save the game to the board, the way you cut it on, all of that is still the same. I am going to make a couple of more videos with this board and try to make things a little more apparent with some things. But for now, the biggest thing I want to really go over, which is going to be the last part of this video, is how to interact, how well they thought about you interacting with your opponent's pieces when they move and your pieces just the same. And we will also test out our voice recognition and how well that works. Because again, we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to it. I had a few things to say about that. So let me move this here out of the way. So let me get my tablet back going here so I can see what I'm doing. All right. Oops. Give me a second here. Let's see here. Let me get my tablet going here. All right, so now we're inside the Chessnut software here. And the first thing I want to do is go over here to the upper left and go to the, I think it's the board settings here. One thing I will say is like the limbo delay and the restore move chessboard delay, you might want to play around with these a little bit depending on how far you pick pieces up off the board or low. Because sometimes, I know myself, I like to set my limbo to about 500-600 milliseconds. I don't know much about the move restore board delay just yet, but say if you're moving really fast, you're likely just to pick the pieces up just the minimum you could pick it up, and you may actually go set down a piece. So I like that limbo. That limbo kind of helps you avoid just that. Now let's go over here to the preferences. We've got down here speech recognition. We're going to use the online recognition instead of the built-in engine. Again, this is I tried to use it unsuccessfully, but again, that was probably due to, again, this is a sample testing unit, but the online recognition worked. And also, it also has move announcement. And we'll talk about how this board, when I actually get to it, how it really helps with people who may have visual hearing and even physical limitations or limited mobility, and how this board actually can facilitate you playing chess. We'll talk about that here in a minute. All right, so now we're going to go back out to the home screen. What was I going to go to here? Oh, we go up here, hit the little Bluetooth symbol. Now, if you look at the power here, it says about 29. While ago it said, this is for the board. While ago it said about 38. But again, that is because, again, I don't know how accurate all this is, but again, it has all of that stuff here. Now the piece power, this is going to be interesting. So if you look at each piece, I guess let's just say you could, I think how you, again, this is all in beta here. I think how you would do this is you would put a piece down and you would hit the refresh button, and it would, but all these pieces are being recognized wherever they are at on the board. So I don't know exactly how it's determining what piece is what, but they do have a green dot under them. So what does that mean? I don't know just yet, but it may mean the battery could be at a certain level or higher. Again, the 29% could be for the board. I'm not entirely for sure, but at the same time, you see green for the piece, that likely indicates that it's good. Now look at this. Now if you look at all these pieces strode across the board, even on the side, this board is just recognizing pieces wherever it's at, and wherever you tell it to go, you put a piece here, it just puts it here. Even if you put it like in the middle of those 4 squares, it puts it right in the middle of these 4 squares. So this is some very precise technology here, that it really has these tracking, digitals, if you want to call them that, all wrapped around in here. And it's just making just zooming these pieces all around the board. Just take a look at this. Just see how I'm just kind of moving it around. It's just, so I think that the technology in this board and knowing what I know about Chessnut is pretty amazing, because they, make really good chessboards, So I thought it's pretty awesome to show you here that that you can just have these pieces all like this. So no matter where it's at, long as it's on this stage here, I don't know, let me take it all the way to the edge here. No, it doesn't go past the gray line. So long as it's within this gray boundary here, and probably, let's see here at the bottom, for example, it does put it off the board a little bit. So it looks like long as it's within this gray boundary and on the matte black part here at the bottom, or the gray, if you want to call it that, it will recognize the piece fully, even if it's halfway off. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna test this out. I'm gonna put a piece of, it took it off the board here. So that way, so let me put it, so it has to be somewhat on the board for it to recognize. So let me just put a piece like a little bit off the board a little bit here. That one didn't quite move. Let me see something here. Let's see something here, then move it here. All right, so we're just gonna leave these 2 pieces like this. So I didn't even test this out, but let's just see what happens. So anyway, we're gonna go back and start a bot match with Mia. So this is the first thing that I wanna talk about, is like how it helps, say, people who may have had an injury, or people for whatever reason may have a physical limitation, and it's just, and it might be sort of cumbersome for them to set their pieces up. Well, this board, because it sets everything up for you, again, first of all, again, repeating myself, physical limitation, visual, visual, and what I want to say, hearing, because again, you can still see the board, and you can actually turn up the sound for it to actually, or put headphones on and make the sound louder, so you can hear what the pieces are saying, so you know where they're moving, for example. All right, so let's go to a bot match here. We're going to use Mia. Mia's actually pretty strong. I think these ratings are quite misrepresented, because 1100, Mia plays some pretty good chess, and pretty amazing how she actually does things, I think. So, so pretty good engine, actually. I do like it. I beat it on every level, just so you know. And again, not bragging, but this thing is tough. I'm not gonna lie. These levels are a little bit misleading, but at the same time, it does make, I think, adequate human mistakes in terms of blunders and things like that. All right, so we're gonna hit start. So we hit start, it should automatically start setting the pieces up. You see how the lights lit up green, and everything smoothly is gonna go where it's supposed to go. Now, I have not figured out what takes precedence of what, in terms of which side or which pieces. Maybe it's just sort of I'm sure they have some sort of algorithm that determines least resistance, if you want to call it. I don't know what else you would call that in computer terms, but either way, as you can see, it's handedly setting the pieces right up. Put the 2 queens right over here, but you can all move these just because it's set. I mean, that's probably just default. And so if you want to set, say, your white queen here, so in case if you think you're going to queen, you can pick it up. I mean, you can even take it off the board. Okay, it even moved the queen. Let's see what it does with the white queen. Is it even going to move it? That'd be pretty awesome if it put the white queen here. Oh, what's happening here? Not sure. Let's give it a second. Oh, it could be because of this pawn. I think. Let me put this pawn here and see what happens. Yeah, there we go. See, for some reason, when the pawn was back too far, it wasn't pulling up. Maybe what was happening that the pawn somehow, because it was trying to move with the wheels, it was up on this little, it's a very slight lip here. Maybe that has something to do with it. So either way, I don't think that was any quirk of the board. I think it has something to do with the pawn sitting right here. So just know that if your piece is basically the safest bet is only have your pieces on these this inner black gray matte area, and you know it'll set everything up properly. Now, one thing I will say, I wish they would take the queen, the white queen, and put it here, and just like they got the black queen on that side. But you could just take it and move it. I mean, it's not gonna hurt anything. So now, up in the top right, you see the little microphone up there that's X'd out or got a cross across it. If you go ahead and hit that, it cuts on the speech recognition. Down at the bottom there, oh, I don't want to move just yet. This little button is not fleshed out yet, but this little button turns sort of would sort of manually turn on and off speech recognition controls here at the bottom. So, but anyway, what we're going to do is that I'm going to move a piece first, and what I want to show you is that the very first thing I want to show you is that if I move a piece, and as long as you see the green, say this knight moves from G8 to F6, as long as you see that green light up, you can go ahead and move your piece. You don't have to wait till the piece of your opponents to finish moving. And also on a capture, you can, if they're in the process of taking a capture, you know they're going to capture, you can go ahead and remove, and say if you're going to capture that piece back of the opponent, they just captured, say your pawn, you can go ahead and take those two pieces off the board, set your piece there, and it'll accept it and keep playing. Little things like that. And you can also mix and match with how you input moves. Like you can do it manually, or you can do it by voice. I don't know if you're here to voice control because I'm on my, I'm gonna try to keep the tablet close to me right here. So maybe you may hear the voice control, I mean, not voice control, but the call out of the piece move from the opponent. And from the perspective of your side, how you input, you just use typical, I would say, computer notation. Like, I'm gonna try it now, because again, I got a lot of noise. I'm outside. I don't know if it's gonna work. We'll say, you got to use that computer notation where you're gonna say the square you're coming from to the square you're going, the literal square. Like we're gonna say D2, D4. There it is, just like that. Perfect.
E7, E5.
I don't know if you can hear. I don't know if you can hear their voice coming through, but I'm gonna try it. So I'm gonna go ahead and capture. We're gonna say this is actually the England Gambit, I think. Is it the England Gambit? No, the England Gambit might be E4. Yeah, that's E4, D5, I think. All right, so we're gonna capture this pawn because I like free pawns. All right, so D4, E5. D4, E5.
F7, F6.
F7, F6. We're gonna say, wow, this is sort of like is this sort of like a reverse, what is it called? The Gambit in the Scotch, I forget the name of it. It's almost like it's a reverse one of those a little bit. Just a little bit, but it should be on the queen side he sacrificed these two pawns versus the king side. But I don't even know what this is. I think I played this before in a blitz. I mean, it's okay just for messing around with. All right, well, E5, F6. Now I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate this here. I'm gonna go ahead and put my bishop here.
F6.
Not manually, and you'll see that it's gonna accept it, and then he's gonna move. Sometimes it does quirky things like this, but it's gonna go ahead and, should go ahead and move well, I thought it would.
F8, E7.
All right, let's go ahead and move this right here before he finished moving then.
F6.
Yeah, you see he went ahead and moved, yeah. So I did that just for demonstration purposes here. And we're just gonna go ahead back here.
E8, G8.
All right, so now we're just gonna go ahead and come here. While he's casting, I'm gonna go ahead and move my knight out. And if he takes my bishop, if he goes knight takes knight, I'm gonna show you what I mean by him capturing my piece.
E4.
Okay, so if I go ahead and
D3.
take these two pieces here and put my pawn here,
E7.
yeah, see that,
F6.
so you didn't have to wait. That's the whole point, what I was trying to make. All right, so now,
F8.
and as you can see, I'm
E8.
handily mixing and matching my moves. Like for example, I'm gonna say F1, E2. And again, I'm just holding
F6,
this up close to my
D4.
face. You don't have to hold it up this close because I've done this in the house. I'm just holding it up this close because I'm outside. I got bugs making noise. I got a fan right here and just, you know, general noise. So you don't have to hold the tablet up to your face like I'm doing if you see me, because I do have an overlay on the screen. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take that.
D7. D5.
Okay, G1, F6. G1, F6. No, sorry. No wonder it didn't take it. That's good. It did not try it. See that? I made a mistake there. G1, F3. See, works just like, yeah. So it will not make illegal moves with voice recognition. That's another thing.
C8. G4.
All right, let's try another illegal move just to verify that. Let's go H2, H5. H2, H5. Okay, so it won't make an illegal move. That's pretty good. Now, I did not test that. That was a real-time test there. H2, H3. H2, H3. Wait a minute, let's see here, because it could be H2, H3. Okay, so let me hit this little button here. Oh, it did it, yeah.
G4. F3.
And see, I can go ahead and take all this off. Just put my piece here. It should have took it. See what happens. Okay, so it didn't do it that time. But again, you get the point that okay, let's see here. Let's do it now. I might have took that too fast. But you get the point that where you can have, let's see, why does it keep putting it back here? Oh, that's an illegal move. Look at me. Because I'm talking, I did miss the fact that, see, the rook. So now I can just go G2, F3. Perfect. So Mia has successfully
B8. C6.
ruined my pawns. I don't know what I'm going to do here. H1, G1.
D8. H4.
Ooh. Okay, let's go ahead and slide up here then.
C6. D4.
C6, D4. Wow. This thing is really... Yeah, that's why I told you. It's really... Well, let's go ahead and do this then. Is that a mistake?
H4. H3.
Yeah, I think that's a free piece, isn't it? Oh, no, because yes, actually, because once I take the knight, I'll be threatening checkmate. Yeah, so that is a free piece. See, that's a, well, hold on, he could take this piece. Well, still threatening mate.
H3. H1.
Let me see what he got here. That'd be amazing if he has something here.
H1. H6.
Okay. We're just gonna go ahead and cover up like this then. Let's cover right here.
E8. E4.
Okay. That's all right. We'll go ahead and take this pawn here.
E4. E6.
What? All right, let's go ahead and put some pressure.
A8. E8.
Okay, let's go ahead and, wait a minute. Let's go ahead here then. I think, yeah.
C7,
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead
C6,
and take this first. We'll check.
G8, H8,
GH, H8. Okay. I, 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 I can appreciate that. I can definitely appreciate that. Let's go ahead and take this.
H6, F4,
Okay. We're gonna go to this way. Let's see here. Yeah, let's go this. Wait a minute. Check, check. I think he can't. No, he can't check, man. I can go this way. Just checking.
E8, E6,
Okay. Is that mate? I think that's mate, right? Yep. Wow, that was actually, again, that was an 1100 Mia playing that game. And it did make some mistakes, but I feel like it probably played more closer to, say, probably a 13 or 1400 player. But that was pretty good. I'm gonna tell you why I think that was more human-like than you might sing. Humans, when you might have some good moves, but once you make a mistake, at least I've seen this myself with myself and other people, and that sometimes you just collapse. Like once you say have some moves that look good, like some checks and things, and then once you make that one move where he blundered the knight, you just sort of collapse. So I think Mia just collapsed here, and I think that was very human-like. So that was pretty cool. So that was what I really wanted to show you guys, with just how to use this board with voice control, how you can interact with your opponent's pieces and your pieces simultaneously. And you can actually, you've seen me do that where as my opponent moved, I moved in the midst of their piece moving. You also saw that when my opponent captured my piece here, I think it was here, that I took both of those pieces off the board in the midst of it trying to capture that piece, and then put my pawn here on C3, and the game continued. I think that's pretty awesome that they've done that. This is a sample board and it's doing that already. It's simply amazing. I can't say much more about what I think they really put some effort in thinking of how to make your experience great with this board. So with that said, that's going to be my introduction video to the Chessnut Move. I gotta say, I'm really feeling this board. It does. One thing I have not checked yet. I want to put the pieces in the middle of the board. Oh, you know what? I'm going to test that real quick. I can't leave this video without doing that. All right. Okay, I'm going to just hit exit. I just want to hit exit. All right, so the game is over with, so I guess now I can do whatever I want. All right, so what I want to test, I didn't do this earlier. I want to say if you're playing online, and you know how you have to spin your board around every single time, like, 'cause you don't know which side you're going to play? What about put all the pieces in the middle of the board, and whatever side you get, the pieces set it up your side. So we're just going to do that with a bot match. I'm not going to do it online right now because I don't have time. That'll be my next video 100%. So we're going to pick random. I'm hoping, let's just jumble all the pieces up here. I hope I get black here. I really hope I get black. Because I'm on this side of the board, I just want to see what happens. If I hit random, let's just hit start. Yes, it gave me black. And there you have it. That's amazing. So if you didn't catch what I said earlier about this right here, if you are, oh no, it's not doing that. I see. It's setting it up per, so in other words, that's a good, this is a good thing that if they wanted to improve the software, it's not a criticism. I think it's a legitimate board and I love it. That if you put all your pieces in the middle of the board and you start a game, it just pushes your pieces to the starting side. You can set it up to have it do that. So, because again, right now I'm on the side with all the controls. So you can have, say, a little option to say board preference. To have board preference as, wait a minute, I'm missing a piece here. Oh yeah. To have board preference to where your side setup
E2,
always
E4.
comes to you if you put all the pieces in the middle of the board. Because right then, what I was expecting was that because I was given the black pieces, and I'm sitting on the control side of the board where all the controls at, all of my black pieces should have came to me. But again, that's okay. So if Chessnut, you watch this video, if you don't have that in the pipeline, please make that a consideration, because that will make online a lot easier. Because that way, if you put all the pieces in the middle of the board, hoping that your opponent don't quit out, put all the pieces in the middle of the board, and whichever side you get, your pieces just come to you, and there'd be no board spinning required. There you have it, folks. I really am feeling this board. Definitely, I got a few more videos already lined up that I want to do, and it's going to be more with just general online play and just testing out some of the offline stuff I did with online play, and seeing if any updates come out and any improvements, and I definitely keep you guys posted. That's been the Chessnut Move. Check my link in the description if you want to help the channel out. If you got anything out of this video, please like this video. That is the absolute best thing you can do for me. If you want to subscribe, you can do that. But definitely like this video, because I want to reach as many people as I can. The way the YouTube algorithm work these days is really hard a lot of times to get through, with more and more creators coming out and more videos just in general. I'm not talking about specifically the eChess, but I'm just talking about in general, because they have to decide what videos go to people's feeds. Even if you might like eChess boards, there might be other relevant things that they might show up in your feed versus mine. But likes help you get more impressions. So there you have it, folks. You guys take care, and I'll see you in the next one.